Hello, my name is Cain Yentzer for Intercourt Tai-Chi videos. Welcome to my latest series of videos on the posture, brush, knee, and strike. This is a great posture for brand new beginners. It's a great way to introduce them to the principles, the movement, and the philosophy of Tai Chi. So if you're a brand new beginner, this is a great video for you to start with. If you get through this series of videos and you find you want to learn a little bit more from me, I have an online workshop, a video workshop for purchase on Podia, the link in the description, where I go into even more detail on Tai Chi, and I teach 4 brand new postures, as well as I have practice along videos and warm-up videos. So with that said, let's start with the first video. See you there. Okay, intro out of the way, let's get started, and we're going to start off with the basic stance. Now, the basic stance is called the bow stance, not the bow you tie, but the bow you shoot. And this is going to be the most important video of the series, because if this is off, everything is off. It doesn't matter where your hands are. If the legs and the feet and the waist are off, the hands will always be off. I get this all the time, students asking me to correct their hands. And I always say, I can't correct your hands because your feet and your waist are in the wrong place. So everything's for naught. Now, you'll notice that I have 2 pieces of tape down here. I strongly suggest you do this in the beginning at least, until you get used to putting your feet in the correct position. I've been teaching this for a long time, and this is one of the things I always correct over and over again, is feet being in the wrong position. So in the beginning, it's a really good idea to use these pieces of tape so you know. Now, the pieces of tape should be your shoulder width apart and parallel, exactly parallel. So this is what we're going to use to align everything. Now, when we start off, you want to start off with your feet parallel and shoulder width apart. And you'll notice I'm stepping on these lines. Imagine these are train tracks, and your feet are on the train tracks, the heels are on the train tracks. What we're going to do first is we're going to take a comfortable step back with the right foot. All right, when we do so, you want to keep your heel on your tape or your train track and don't step in between. This is something I correct all the time. People want to step in because it's more comfortable. You have to keep this corridor of space in between your feet. So take a comfortable step back with the right foot. Now, we're going to do feet, knees, waist, weight. Feet, knees, waist, weight. That's the sequence we're going to go in every time we come into this bow stance. So always do it the same way so you know you're set up properly. Now that I've taken a comfortable step back with my foot on that line, the back foot, the right foot, you're going to pivot on the heel, not the toe or the ball, on the heel. And you're going to point your right foot out slightly to the diagonal. If you want an exact measurement, it's 45 degrees. What we don't want to do is put it out past that 45 like this, which a lot of people do because they find it's easier to move their waist. We're trying to open and close the waist, and if you point your foot out like this, well, then your waist won't close, it stays open. So make sure that that toe is pointing in a slight angle towards the diagonal. All right, that's the feet part. Next is knees. We want to let go of our knees and bend our knees. You want to feel like you're sitting on springs, and you want to sit up. Okay, the more you bend your knees, the quicker your progression will be, but it'll also make it harder. Same thing with the width of your stance. If you have a big stance, it's going to make it harder, but you'll progress more quickly. What you don't want to do is burn your knees out in the beginning because your waist is tight. So err on the side of having a smaller stance. Feet, knees, waist. Now we need to turn our waist to the left if the left foot is forward, and point it directly forward. Now during this process, the feet cannot move, the knees have to stay bent, especially the back one. A lot of people have a tendency to do this with their back leg and push themselves forward. This is called leaning. We do not lean in Tai Chi, we sit upright. All right, so I have my feet properly positioned, my knees are bent and soft. Remember, that back leg, don't straighten it. Waist needs to be turned exactly to this direction. So both hips are equidistant from, let's say, the camera that's shooting at me. Both hips are equidistant from you, the viewer. Now, the last thing we're going to do, and the toughest thing, is we're going to shift our waist forward and bring 70% of our weight into the front leg. Now, here's a place where people start to move their feet and they start to straighten up the back leg. None of that can happen. They also learn to lose the turn in the waist. Everything has to be present at this point. Now, if you look from the side view, you'll notice my knee comes right up to my toe. That's when you know. In the beginning, you can't really tell 70% of your weight where it's at. A lot of people have trouble with this. Now, you don't want to look down and judge it from there because it'll be off because of the perspective. So if you really need to test this, find a wall, put your toe up to the wall, let your knee bend and let the knee come up to the wall just like your toe is. Toe up to the knee, but not past. Now, you want to make sure all of your weight is going straight down through your legs into the center of your foot, right under the balls of your feet. All right, once again, it's 70% in the front, 30% in the back. Meanwhile, you want to tuck under and sit up, and you want to keep your eyes on the horizon, and you want to imagine as though the top of the head is suspended from above. Now, if you're doing this stance correctly and you just began, you will notice that your leg is starting to burn. This is correct. This means you're getting that weight up there. This is called separation of weight. And if you're not separating your weight in Tai Chi, it's not Tai Chi. So, to reiterate, make sure your feet are parallel, shoulder width apart to start. When you take a step back with the right leg, make sure the heel stays on that line. On your train track, don't step in the middle of the tracks. Remember, feet, knees, waist, weight. On the back foot, you're going to pivot on the heel, not the ball of the foot, and point the toe out slightly to the diagonal, 45 degrees to be exact. Don't overturn. Next, you're going to release your knees and sit up. All right, this means bring your pelvis under your head. Feet, knees. Now the waist. Turn the waist so that it's directly facing forward. There's not even a slight angle on the waist. It's completely squared off to meet. Now, last thing you're going to do is push your hips forward, not lean, and not straighten your back leg, not lose the bend in the knees, and not lose the position of the feet. And you're going to listen to the bottom of your foot so that you can tell whether or not 70% of your weight is in the front foot, 30% in the back. All right? And this is your bow posture. This is what we're going to move from. So spend a little time trying to perfect this. Let your legs burn. And also, you're going to do it on both sides. So after you do it on one side, you're going to follow the feet, knees, waist, weight. And then you're going to do it on the other side and practice on the other side. And you'll find out which leg is weaker. All right? So that's the basic bow posture. Just make sure that your weight, very important, is not in the heels. It goes straight through the center of the foot, under the balls of the foot. Make sure you tuck under. Make sure you sit up. Make sure your eyes on the horizon. Don't look at the ground. And feel your head suspended from above. So go ahead and practice that a bunch of times. Get your legs strong. And then you're ready to move on to the next video, is where we learn how to do the basic movement, which is turning the waist and shifting the weight. So I'll see you in the next video.